Good morning, guys. Dobro jutro. So, just to let you know where we're up to now. So obviously I'm here for a few days on my own now, nearly a week, and it's about time I start getting things done around the house. So the first week with Tasha and the kids here, I spent most time enjoying time with them here and not really getting stuff done. Bit of painting, chopping the tree down, but nothing else. So now's my time to crack on. For those that remember, we had a bit of an issue in what we've been calling the kids' playroom. When we first bought the house, we noticed along the back wall, which is an outside wall, there was quite a few cracks in the plaster. We had slash replaster it, but he just went over what was originally there. And there's obviously movement in the old stonework. So a lot of the foundations and first layer of the buildings are like old fieldstone, and basically the mortar in between is like mud. It's terrible. So there is always a little bit of movement. Now, I knew about the movement. It wasn't too big a deal. So realised over this winter that it's been getting worse. So I've started knocking some of the plaster away where the big cracks and holes were starting to appear, just to see what it's like behind. And it's not too bad. I mean, it's a big thick wall. It's a big thick wall of stone. It just needs basically pointing and making more sturdy. So that's the job that I need to take on. So now I've got the kitchen cupboard needs finishing for the sink. I've got the outside pointing that needs doing on certain spots on the wall where the mortar's come out. And I've got this interior wall that needs sorting, and I've got the painting to do in the living room. And then another job number 5 I've been given is the opportunity to get a friend of my Welsh mate, Russell. He's going to send up a guy who's a tiler, and the tiler's going to come and price up the floors from the kitchen through to the playroom. I'll get a price for that first. My ideal is to get this side of the house done, like the new bit, the extension bit, done completely how I want it, finished off, and then I'll move on to the rest of the house as well. So this is the wall that I was talking about. It's like a shelf, so all the bottom bit is the old stonework, and it's a really big thick wall. And then the top bit behind there is brick. I've looked on the outside, it's not badly pointed or any signs of any major issues on the outside. So I'm just going to take the plaster off. I'm going to take all the plaster off. I'm going to repoint the brickwork. And then what I'm thinking about doing is potentially just maybe leaving the brickwork, the stonework I should say, exposed, and putting maybe some kind of sealant over it, so there's no dust. Anybody with any thoughts on that, please leave a message in the comments, because I'd be interested on your thoughts. I'm not sure what you can use, but I'm sure there's some kind of clear sealant I can put over the top that's not going to affect the stone, but potentially make it a bit of a feature. So yeah, if you've got any ideas of what to use, please drop a comment below and let me know. Right, time to get on with it. Well guys, as you can see, I've removed all the plaster and the rendering that was over the plaster. Now all this side was kind of rendered in the mortar material, and it's not too bad. That side's not massively bad. This side had a patchwork of concrete, proper cement concrete over the top, and what's happened here is that the natural fieldstone's not been allowed to breathe. A little bit of moisture's got in there, it's deteriorated all the mortar in between the stones, and we've had some movement. Also, as you can see, there's 2 house bricks there. Now I'm not sure whether that was just done because they might not have had the right size stones to put in, or whether it's something to do with, as they've kind of just built the foundation, it kind of blends into the next bit that looks to be brick. I really don't know, but from an aesthetic point of view, if I'm going to keep this open, I'm going to look and see if I can find a couple of field stones that might just fill that gap, hopefully without losing the integrity of the what's remaining of the wall. Now these foundations are really thick, so even though it looks quite bad, once it's been repaired, once I've done the mortar work and filled it all in, fingers crossed, it should last a hell of a long time. So I'm going to crack on with that and see what I can do. Hopefully get it finished on this visit. But yeah, as always, time is against me. Okay guys, so I've just started to take out some of the mortar to have a look around this brickwork and see if I can make it work. Let me show you. So I've started taking some out, and I really want to deal with this brick. Now there's two red bricks there. One of them's tied into the other wall, so I don't really want to touch that because it's solid, but the one on the bottom is actually loose. So my plan is to try and take it out and replace it with a stone. So I picked out a few stones, similar sort of size, and see what I can make fit in that gap better, and make it look a little bit better. And it'll still mean having that one red brick, but I can live with that. I'm also only going to do a small section at a time. Two reasons. One, I don't want my mortar mix going off if I don't use it all. And two, I think it would be better to try and make like little bits of it solid before I loosen other bits, if you know what I mean. So that's the plan. Try and make it as solid as I possibly can as I go along. So wish me luck guys, because it's a big job and I've never attempted something like this before. Yeah, fingers crossed it all goes well. Hey guys, I've managed to take the brick out and get the pieces of stone in, and they're set in like normal bricklaying type work, if you like. But I'm going to tell you something now that won't surprise most of you. I like to Google things, I like to look on YouTube, I like to come up with hacks if I can. And one hack that I found about using mortar, especially for stonework like this, is if you have to get quite deep into the wall, so let's say you've got a cavity a good few inches in, then it's possible to make a slightly looser mortar mix and use an icing bag. So I picked up an icing bag last summer, knowing that full well I'd seen the hack and thought it might be a good idea. So now I'm going to test it out and see if it works. So I've made a slightly looser than normal mix. It's still quite toothpaste-like, it's still quite firm, but I'm going to see if it goes through the bag, into the wall, making it easier to get further into the cavities. To try and just fill some of these gaps that I've got, and then I'll brush it all off and see how it looks. But yeah, interesting hack, let's see if it works. Right guys, well I've decided that it might be worth showing you what I'm actually doing. But I'm going to do this bit by bit because I don't have anything to hold my camera here at the moment. So as you can see, the bit that's done compared to the bit I'm just starting on, I'm using this fantastic tool. Now it's actually for twisting wire, but it's brilliant for getting in and getting all the old mortar and old stones and all the other bits and bobs. There's shells in there, there's all kinds of stuff in there. So it's just getting anything loose out as far back as I dare go. Now I'm doing a section at a time, and the reason for that is I don't want to risk weakening the structure, because obviously if it's got any load on it, I don't want to risk the foundations, don't want to weaken the structure, but I do want to get back as far as I possibly can. So I'm reaching right in with this, dragging everything out, just dragging it onto the floor, getting as much out as I possibly can, and then making up a mortar mix, which I'm just using this stuff, which is a lime cement mortar. It was recommended to me by one of my builder friends. He said it should do the job nicely. It's strong stuff, so that's what I'm using. So as you can see, once I've mixed it, which is simple bucket, water and the cement mix, the mortar mix I should say, then I'm just putting it into my bag and I'm pumping it in
to all the nooks and crannies, getting it as far back in as I can, literally filling any void. Some of the small stones that I'm taking in between, I'm also placing back in. So stones like this that were kind of just in between, I'm kind of pushing that back into the mortar. And then just to finish things off, I've got this little tool and I'm just going over and pushing last bits in already, any thin little bits that need to be pushed in. I'm doing that, tidying it up with this. And yeah, there's a massive difference. Let me try and show you. So that's what it looked like before. That's what it looks like during. And that's what it looks like after. So yeah, I think I'm getting there. Slowly but surely, I think I'm getting there. I've got a lot more foundation work to do on the outside, the summer kitchen, in the shed, but that can be done in summer. At the moment, I just want to get this job done as quick as I can. So get it tidied up, then I'll worry about fixing up the mantle here, which is a concrete mantle. I'm going to try and tidy that up. Not sure how yet, but I'll find a way. Yeah, I'm going to crack on. Dos go.
Bit of a rainy day today, so I thought I'd come out and see what the car's doing. And even though it's been stood for quite some time now, check that there's still oil in it. There's plenty of oil in it, and it started up first turn of the key. So obviously a bit of battery life there. So I'm gonna let it run for a few minutes, just top that battery up. Yeah, really happy, really impressed that it actually just started up first turn of the key, no problem at all. I'm just going to put some air in the tyres because there are a couple that are looking a little bit low, and fingers crossed when I come back for summer I'll be able to use it again. That's the plan. We'll wait and see. Good morning guys, dobro jutro. Well, as you can see, we've got the sunshine back, so lovely warm morning this morning. Beginning of March, absolutely lovely here. And it's a little cold, but can't beat lovely sunshine. I did a few jobs yesterday, as you've seen, just a little bit of tidying up and work around the property, just filling in a few cracks in the mortar, which was interesting because I took a brick out and found a little bat. Now, we've seen bats knocking around constantly, but I didn't know I had bats in the house. But there's obviously bats knocking around in the cavities in the wall, probably up in the roof as well. So carefully rehomed the bat, just so I could fill in the cracks in the mortar. Yeah, so always surprising here with the wildlife. Every time you do something, you find something. Every time I go and move the firewood, there's usually something hiding in there. Always nice to see some wildlife. But things haven't gone as I hoped to, and I've certainly not got anywhere near as much work done as I anticipated. I'm glad I've got a couple of the jobs done, but to be fair, I'd have liked to have done a hell of a lot more. But sometimes in life, you've just got to take things as they come, go with the flow, and that's what I try and do. Good morning, dobro jutro. As you can see, spring is definitely on its way. We've got the daffodils coming out behind me. And I'm sat in my favourite spot as usual, at the back door. And yeah, I'm cracking on with the brickwork. It's becoming a bit of a stress, to be honest, because it's a lot of work to do, and it's a very tight space to work in, so I'm not really enjoying it. But I'm getting on with it, and that's the most important thing, just getting it done. I would have liked to have been here longer, but I've got to be careful now with my time, because I don't want any time I take here now to come off my time in summer. So I'm just trying to balance everything up a little bit, which is something you've got to think about while you're over here in Bulgaria, or obviously any country where you're on a 90-day tourist visa and not full residency. Tuesday night I'm going to pack up and leave. So yeah. So again, time crunch. It's always about the time crunch. Little bits of jobs that I'm not going to get done this time are probably the painting, depending on how long this wall takes me, but probably the painting. And I'm really undecided about what to do about this kitchen cabinet. I know that if I build it and put it in, I'm not going to be happy, but I also know that it could take weeks and months in summer to get a new one ordered and delivered and sorted, and then try and potentially sell this one on to somebody else. I don't really know. I'm just trying to work it out as I go, really, and that's all you can do, is make things up as you go over here. But I will say once again, don't use HomeMax. Worst thing I've ever done is order kitchen unit from HomeMax. Never again, not a chance. No more money being spent with HomeMax ever again. Absolute joke. The customer services are a joke. The company is a joke. Just don't bother with them. Just avoid at all costs. So yeah, chatting to Tasha last night. She's been posting all the pictures from being here in Bulgaria. I'll keep you updated. Anyway, bye for now. Do skoro.